Come one, come all to another episode of Stay Hot, featuring Blaiden Kirk, Matthew Spawnhour, Theo Ash, presented by the good fellas over at FanDuel. If you're doing any sort of DFS or sports betting this NFL season, make sure that's where you're getting it done. These are the best NFL takes you've ever heard in your life. We're talking about, of course, the conference championship games. We're talking about the national championship. Indiana has the perfect season. The first, they've been like the worst college football team ever,
basically.
for most of college football history, and then they go and win the national title. Really a great story. And then there's a lot of drama going on in this coaching carousel. The Bills obviously fired Sean McDermott. We're going to talk about that. And then with Kevin Stefanski being hired to Atlanta, this has stirred some drama in the NFC South with Baker Mayfield, and then Joe Thomas has hopped in. So we kind of have to break all of this down as well. It's going to be a fun time, and so I thought I would open up the episode with a fun little circus-y, come one, come all. But how you guys doing, man?
And I liked it. I'm doing good. I think a lot of NFL fans don't recognize that truly our league is the story of the NFC South. And everything else that happens in any other division is just filler and passing the time and building, the storyline. You have to wait for Atlanta or the Panthers to be bad for a couple of decades to make the losses have some weight to it or whatnot. So I'm not surprised it's been dramatic.
Yeah, this is really Tyler Shuck's world, and we're all just living in it for sure. I'm doing pretty well, though. I watched Ex Machina, the movie from like 2015 with Oscar Isaac and some normal-looking guy and Ava, the girl robot. And it was pretty good. So I'm in a good mood. I went to IKEA, which was, I don't know how I feel about IKEA. But that was my day.
Great idea.
What do you mean by you don't know how you feel about it?
Yeah.
What are your mixed feelings?
On one hand, it's got some things going for it where like I kind of like seeing the room setups, and I kind of like seeing just all the stuff they've got in there. It's like the biggest store in the world, basically. And there's like there's a whole section that's just like every kind of light you can imagine, and a whole section that's just every kind of kitchen, and a whole section that's just every kind of bedroom and every kind of laundry hamper and chair. And so it's kind of a feast for the senses in certain ways, but at the same time, it's kind of a feast of mid, and it's kind of like it's like furniture Shein. And so I don't know. I don't know if it's a great store and a pleasant experience or a really unpleasant experience. It's certainly a weird shopping one. So I guess I don't really have an opinion.
You've never been, Matt?
No.
Interesting.
It's a weird place.
I think going to IKEA for the first time, you're like, Theo, you're right. There's a lot. And so it seems like, there's no way you're going to come out of here and without something that you'll like. But it is kind of a lot of mid. Like you go into like a Pottery Barn and you're like, there's way more nice stuff to look at, even though it's a smaller store.
It could be true. There's a lot of junk in IKEA. There's a lot of junk, and you got to build it all yourself. Like if you see something you like, you can't just take it off the shelf and say, I'm going home with this and check it out. You got to go to this like whole other store.
To the warehouse. You have to
go to the warehouse, and then you have to like find the product in the warehouse, and then you got to wheel it out of there, and you got to wheel it all the way back to your car, and then you got to build it at home. And that's the thing that sucks the worst about IKEA.
This is actually an insane business model when you think about it, because most stores have warehouse work. Like Amazon even is like the biggest and baddest evil business model of all time. They at least have warehouse workers.
And I swear to God, when I was walking through IKEA, I saw one employee training another employee, and the mentor guy went to a shelf and he moved a candle 1 inch to the right on the display. And he turned to the other guy and he said, just got to adjust that. And then I go and I got to move this heavy ass set of 2 boxes, and there's no one in sight to help me. It's like, you guys had a lot of manpower to move a candle 1 inch to the right. And when it comes time to like check out at the warehouse, there's like no one to be found. So I guess I'm kind of more negative. I'm skewing negative towards IKEA.
Did you have the meatballs though?
Yes.
Did you like them?
Are they good?
Yeah, they're pretty good.
Is this kind of like a Buc-ee's situation where the experience of this shop gets a little bit overrated?
It's a
Buc-ee's situation.
Matt,
It's
like
kind of a Buc-ee's situation. It really is kind of a Buc-ee's situation.
Buc-ee's is like, it's nice. It's cool. Like they've got big, clean bathrooms, and it's really big, and it's got a lot of snack options, but it is like just a gas station on some level. I guess like the level of food that you can get there, like they have people like kind of out in the open to the one that I've been like preparing stuff. But like, I don't know, man, is that any better than just going to like Subway and getting a sandwich and then hitting the road again? To me personally, I didn't see like as much of the appeal. And I think from like an outside perspective, I kind of look at IKEA as the same thing where it's like it's supposed to be an experience to go there, or sort of like this whimsical store. And maybe I'm just like a super negative, awful guy now that I'm saying this take out loud. But like, to me, it's like it sounds like it's just a furniture store that, you know, that has its purpose. IKEA furniture.
It's a furniture store, and every item in the store is called Fjordrupper.
You can't pronounce. Yeah, you can't pronounce it.
This isn't a shelf. It's a shelf coffin. Wow, so fancy.
It's all like Swedish, isn't it?
Yeah, it's all Swedish. Sorry, I was just extremely racist towards Swedish people with that pronunciation. But I agree with you about Buc-ee's. The only nice thing about Buc-ee's is the bathrooms. The bathrooms are super nice.
The bathrooms are great. I give them that.
They're fantastic. And then it's big for the sake of being big, and it's filled with junk. Like it literally has a wall full of. There's a lot of.
There's
junk.
A lot of like house goods in there that are really crap. It's like, what?
The wall full of flip flops. We don't be needing this. We don't need the wall full of flip flops, and we don't need the live, laugh, love section. Like, if it was a normal sized gas station with really nice bathrooms and like solid brisket, unbelievable. But instead they make it big and fill it with junk. Oh yeah, that's the big deal. There's a guy. All the employees like yell out when it's ready.
What?
They say like brisket. It like rings throughout the store.
Is it good brisket?
I didn't try the brisket when I was there. I didn't try it. And maybe that's money.
Guy.
And
this is the question is money. How much is the brisket?
It's probably pretty affordable. It's probably somewhat affordable, probably decently tasting brisket. And yeah, that's probably cool. But Quick Trip also has good hot food in the Midwest, and it doesn't insist upon itself. I did like the mascot walking around Buc-ee's. I do like their gopher. I think the gopher's got a lot going for it. And there was a guy in a gopher costume just walking around the store, and everybody was taking pictures.
Okay.
And that I did cool kind mascot. Of see the campy charm in that part of it. But
I can get behind that.
Yeah.
I was at a concert, and the drummer had a Buc-ee's shirt on. It is sort of a universally recognizable brand, and you have
people love the gopher.
That.
I like the gopher. I liked the gopher. I like the gopher mascot. There was a lot of gopher merchandise in the store just to fill the space that I could have done without. But anyway,
we should open a Stay Hot store and fill it with merch of Huel Jinkly.
Stay Hot gas station.
Stay Hot gas station. Yes, of course.
I think
yes, of course, it'll be peak. Will it be more peak than the college football playoff national championship? Hard to say.
That was pretty good. That was a good game. Any takeaways, Matt? Did you watch it? Blade, did you guys watch it, or am I?
I watched the game. So, I wanted to come into this being more positive about Fernando Mendoza, and I just don't know if I am. Like the one rushing touchdown that he had was sick. That was in like all desire fire, like break several tackles, dive into the end zone. That got me pumping. All right. But like, dude, the receivers are so goated. They're like, if every receiver on that team when it was in the draft, I would draft every single one of them. Those are just, they have 3 NFL wide receivers on their team right now.
Yeah, I think watching it from a Mendoza draft stock perspective, like it's hard to ignore the fact that like for a Heisman winner, he really doesn't have to do that much on this offense. Like it is a lot of running, and they get to throw when they want to and not when they have to. And when they do throw, it's that back shoulder bucket to Surratt or Becker who makes an incredible adjustment. Like it really is not that much on Mendoza's plate. And I thought until that play, he really didn't make any plays over the course of that game. And they still were able to grow a lead because of the run game and because of the defense and because of the special teams blocking a punt for a touchdown and all that. Yep. And they're a complete team, man. Like that's the beautiful thing about Indiana is they are a complete team. They're rugged. They've got a big veteran offensive line. They've got these glue trap receivers. They've got Pons, like who's so scrappy on the outside. They've got an incredible linebacker, right? All these older transfers who are just like physically dominant. They're a fantastic, fantastic team. Obviously went undefeated, like clear national champions. And like last year, Steve Sarkisian said, I don't know if we'll ever see an undefeated team in college football ever again. And then boom, here you go. Here is one.
Immediately.
Cignetti's awesome. Like they're an awesome team, but like I do wonder how each of these players individually is going to do in the league, and that includes
the receivers are all going to be great. The receivers are all going to be first team All Pro. I mean, dude, Becker has like the best hands I've ever seen.
Becker is really, really nice. I love Charlie Becker. I think Becker has a chance to be the best of the three of them. And Omar Cooper and Surratt are really, really good players. And Becker might even be the best of the three going forward.
Yeah, I think Becker is phenomenal. I agree. A lot of those back shoulder throws, I felt like were more him than they were Mendoza. And oftentimes the placement by Mendoza is good on those. I mean, I think about the ending throw he had against Ohio State. I thought that was a super well-placed ball too. And of course, like the run. Yeah, well, I mean, he just hit him and he was open. But like, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm not like crazy high on Mendoza, but I'm also not super low. Like, I think you can see the vision on him as a prospect, right? And like, he's got the physical tools and he seems to be relatively accurate. Maybe the offense doesn't ask him to do a ton, but I don't think that's necessarily like disqualifying if some games roll like that.
Yeah, no, it's not disqualifying. It's just like if we're again talking about in the context of first overall pick, like future quarterback for the Las Vegas Raiders, they are going to ask him to do a lot because the team sucks. So it is hard to look at
overall pick. Yeah, I thought really, I mean, Indiana is one of the coolest stories in college football history, or at least since I've been alive. I don't think it's an exaggeration. I mean, they sucked and they turned their team around in 2 years, right? And there absolutely is like nothing phony about it too. That's what's cool. You know, it wasn't like a fluky run. Like, I don't know if they had played a couple of like group of five schools because the seeding was weird and they hadn't had that good of a year, and then Ohio State like had lost after like maybe beating them or something like that. That's not how it went down. Like, they were just phenomenal all year. And they were really good last year too, honestly. So yeah, Cignetti's a great coach. I think they got a lot of really good players. Pons is awesome. The receivers are awesome. It's a pretty cool story. But Miami's defensive line is crazy too.
That was one of my main takeaways is like Indiana struggled to move the ball in this game to an extent that they just hadn't in the past. And it was because of the D line. Like number 99 for Miami, that defensive tackle, just a bull in a china shop against a great offensive line. Like they get off the ball so fast, so low, like they're so destructive, and really caused a lot of problems and allowed Miami to kind of hang around, even though they didn't convert a third down, I believe, until like the third quarter was the first time they actually sustained a drive. They had that one long Mark Fletcher run, which was cool. And that was like really their entire offense until pretty much the very end of the game. And Miami's defense let them hang around. There were some penalties that let Indiana get a lead, some penalties that probably should have let them have more of a lead. Signetti gave quite the halftime interview where he talked about how there were 3 shots to Mendoza on a single drive and none of them got called. And that was probably right. That is what happened. I don't know about 3, but there was one really clear. I didn't see the other 2, I guess, but there was one that was really clear.
Oh, the play where he faked like he had the ball and got lit up. I thought that they could have called that targeting in the sense that there was helmet to helmet. But like, I think if you're faking having the ball, you're free game. So you don't get to be like, I'm faking having the ball and then getting hit and then being like, well, I actually didn't have the ball, so you weren't allowed to hit me. That sucks. That's BS. But they could have thrown it for targeting. But I saw people.
Definitely, it's ethical to not call a flag there, I think, because Mendoza was fine. But I also think the defensive back or the linebacker, whatever personnel it was, probably knew that he didn't have the ball after that time, and then definitely just wanted to make sure Mendoza felt him, and then popped him helmet to helmet. So, like, I understand as Indiana's coach being like, "Hey, you can't hit my quarterback in the right beneath the chin strap."
Mendoza was taking some pretty big hits, which isn't totally unlike him.
No, he really gets blown up, and I feel like Mendoza like flies through the air when he gets hit, different than other quarterbacks. Like I actually think that
Jaden Daniels, but he's bigger.
He's bigger. I feel like he has light bones or whatever. Like whenever Mendoza takes a hit, it's like full helicopter, like car crash test dummy type scenes from him. So he had a couple moments in that championship game where I'm like, Jesus, he's like helicoptering. He's just like getting absolutely.
I'm trying to imagine what someone's reaction would be if you like told them to their face, "Hey, bro, you got some light bones."
You got some light bones. I do think Mendoza has some light bones.
Are the Atlanta Falcons going to get it done in the NFC South?
With Stefanski, Baker certainly thinks that they shouldn't get anything done. His tweet where he accuses Stefanski of not reaching out to him after the trade and throwing him away like a piece of garbage, quote, and that he looks forward to playing him twice a year.
It's very negative, very negative tone. And I think it's interesting kind of the responses that you see to this from fans. I feel like a lot of people are on Baker's side right now.
He's a very big fan base.
He's a very popular player, and Kevin Stefanski, as of current, is sort of an unpopular coach, especially by Browns fans. But I thought it was interesting to see Joe Thomas quote tweet. And personally, I have a bit more respect for Joe Thomas's opinion than Baker Mayfield's opinion. And Joe was like, dude, you also could have reached out. It's like communication's a two-way street. It's not like they cut you. You got traded. You could have very well reached out and said something as well. And my general take on the Baker stuff has always been like, the reason he got traded is because he played poorly, because he played through a torn labrum. Like if he had gotten the surgery when he was injured, he probably would still be in Cleveland today. I don't know if he would have played well after that, but like at least he wouldn't have played bad because he's like throwing through like a brutally painful injury. So that's always been my take on it, and I think he can sort of not blame himself, but like I don't think you can just be like, Stefanski, this is all your fault and I hate you, and why don't you reach out to me? Why don't you call me anymore? It's a little weak. I do think it's funny also that Stefanski's building out like the Cleveland Browns too, and in Atlanta right now. He goes in, he's like, dude, what made me so successful when I was in Cleveland? It's almost like a character in a movie going through some sort of psychosis where it's like everything's going wrong for me right now. Let me just go back in time to when things were good. And he's like, when were things good? Okay, when I had Nick Chubb. Okay, now I have Bijan Robinson. When were things good? When I had Bill Callahan fixing Wyatt Teller. Oh, now let's just bring him to Atlanta. And then he goes and brings in Tommy Rees as his OC. And it's just like,
and Kirk Cousins, who was his like quarterback before he got the first head coaching job.
It's just Kevin Stefanski and all of his friends.
I am rolling my eyes at Baker, though. How many times? He plays Steve Wilkes. That's the guy who cut me. He plays Kevin Stefanski. That's the guy who kicked me to the curb like I was trash. Like, bro, I get it. I get it. You were bad and you got cut. Like, oh my God. Well, like, okay. So did most players in the league. Probably got traded or cut or moved on from at one point or another. Like, I don't know. It's like I just kind of roll my eyes at his chip on his shoulder gimmick, but whatever. That's other people.
Yeah, what's that like cycle? The Baker Mayfield cycle. It's play bad, like call out doubters, all that. Yeah, I don't know what stage. We're probably in the call out doubters stage right now, and then he's gonna
very much
bad. And then he's gonna play bad, and then something else will happen, and he'll play like what's the play an underachieving team or something, and then he plays well against them and whatnot. Yeah. Baker can be a little odd sometimes.
He can be a bit feisty. Like, did Stefanski even say anything about him? Like, Stefanski?
No, he was like quote tweeting an article that was like Stefanski was failed by his quarterbacks, and then Mayfield was like, failed is a strong word. By the way, still waiting on that call from Stefanski for after he cut me or whatever.
You notice how Joe Burrow hasn't tweeted in 2 years, and the first time was to tell people that it was in fact an interception? That
shit was so fucking funny, dude. He's like got his whole emo thing going. Like, I'm off socials. I'm not sure if I'm having fun anymore. I got to find some way to have fun again. Just radio silence after the season, and then he logs back on to tell Bills fans to quit bitching about the call.
I love
he's
that.
top 3, dude. Like, that's he's top 2. He's actually better than Mahomes.
Yeah, he's actually the best quarterback in football now because of that.
I appreciate him for that.
Yeah.
Yes, that's sick.
Does he have burners? Like, how did he even know that was going on? Like, shouldn't he just be like?
I guess he usually probably just like scrolls and doesn't post anything, and then he got worked up enough about it or just wanted to say something bad enough so where he posted. That'd be my guess.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a Joe Burrow boner. I guess I'm just guessing.
I get it. I get it. It was annoying. It was annoying. He literally what scrolling Dan Orlovsky's timeline does to a NFL to a quarterback.
I mean, I don't get the confusion, you know? I don't understand why this is even an argument. I mean, I get it from the perspective of cope, but like,
did we not already talk about that?
We did. I'm just like, I'm confused as to how it's Wednesday and we're still talking about it.
You brought it up.
No, I'm saying we as in the.
Well, it's a thing all over again because of the Bills press conference today, where the owner kind of started with, "That was a catch, by the way," and then he talked about how they hit a playoff wall and he had to fire everybody. And then somebody asked him, they were like, "So, were you just did a bad officiating call get Sean McDermott fired?" And then he's like, "No, it was the locker room. It was Josh Allen crying that got him fired." It was a very bizarre press conference. I don't know if you saw any of it or saw any of the quotes from it.
I saw some of the quotes from it. I have to say, the pointing fingers about the Keon Coleman draft pick is bizarre when he's still on your roster. It's like, you know, he had a bad year, obviously, like the prognosis for a receiver who was picked highly but is, you know, getting DNPs in his second season. Not good, but like, it's still crazy to say that when it's not necessarily over and he's a young guy or whatever. And honestly, like when you get up there in the press conference, be like, "Yeah, I didn't like that pick at all. That was all Sean McDermott, the guy we just fired, so it's all good." That actually doesn't inspire confidence. It's the opposite, frankly. It makes me feel like, it makes it immediately like apparent, like, oh, this organization is just completely unserious.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, this is a total. That's not how anybody professional would act whatsoever. It's the type of thing that you would like make a joke about, like, here's how I would handle this scenario, and then your joke is like you would handle it very poorly and like a fan and being like, yeah, I thought the coach was dumb as hell for wanting to draft this dude on our team. That's not me. So I do get to stay, actually. It's just weird.
Yeah, it seems like they're like, oh, the same old Bills. Like I remember when the Bills sucked before Josh Allen and they had the longest playoff drought in the NFL, and watching that press conference just kind of made me think that's still the team that they are. They just have Josh Allen now. That was my takeaway. And maybe that's unfair. Like they still do have Josh Allen going into next year. So maybe it'll be fine. And it doesn't matter what the owner says in a press conference in January after the season ends. But it was a bad look. Keon Coleman just caught a touchdown. Like Keon Coleman had 500 yards this year. He had a positive receiving EBA. Like he's really having a very average second round pick career with 960 yards and 8 touchdowns in 2 years. Is it fantastic, stellar? No. But what about all the other bad picks that you've made? Like what did TJ Edwards do this year? Like what did Maxwell Hairston really do this year? Like he played somewhat well, but got injured. Was injured to begin the year. Like, was he a contributing force in the playoffs? No. Where's Kyer Alam? Like, what about all those other picks?
I love Kyer Alam. I thought he was going to be goated, man. I would have picked him too. But no, it's a valid point to be like, they've drafted 56 players since drafting Josh Allen in 2018. And like, how many of them outside of James Cook and Dawson Knox have been massive positives? Or like Kincaid, you know, it's a very small number, and it's weird that Bean was somehow able to convince the owner that like, no, it's not the drafting, it's the develop. Like clearly, we just don't have the guys to develop these players, right?
Yeah,
and so you just have to go find the guy that can develop this talent. And let me keep drafting. Like it's really bizarre. I cannot believe that happened.
I think they seem very aware of what fans think of them. I mean, there was Bean's whole rant last year about how they had the number 2 offense and yet everybody's bitching about wide receivers. Like clearly it's not a problem is what he said. And then you have this game where the receivers don't make the tough catches and it directly results in a loss. And then fans are like, that was condescending. Like you just talked, like basically called us all dumb bumpkin fans and said like kiss the ring, and you were wrong, and that's embarrassing. And that's the guy who gets to stay and McDermott gets to go. And when the owner is asked like, how do you parse roster construction with coaching, and he says, I don't have an answer for you, it just seems unfair to McDermott, right? And people don't like unfairness. That's the one thing that like everybody hates, is when shit is unfair. And I get moving on from McDermott. I get being in that post-game locker room and seeing all the crying and the just devastation and like, man, there is no Mahomes this year. You really should have gotten one. No one has won more games than us without a Super Bowl appearance ever. Like maybe we need to shake something up. I get that, but you got to be able to rationalize somehow firing the coach and not the roster constructor GM, and then giving a press conference with that guy right next to you and jumping in to defend him every chance you get. It's just a horrible look. It's a horrible look. And it doesn't have to completely fail the Bills next year. I'm not sure, because they had a bad press conference in January again, that they're going to win us 7 games next year. Like maybe they can find a Jalen Waddle or, you know, whoever becomes available and things work out. But, it was a cringe press conference, certainly.
Yeah, I've been kind of tossing and turning on the idea of like, first of all, this is the most head coach turnover in league history, right? And I've been trying to think of like, why? Like, obviously, teams feel that they can improve in that area, but like, how many of these teams are actually going to end up upgrading at head coach is kind of my major question. And Buffalo is definitely, Cleveland's obviously one of them. Buffalo's another one that I'm just like, unless you land Flores, which like is the top guy that everyone wants right now, it seems.
I don't know if he is.
He might not be, actually, because it's the Chargers guy, right?
Minter is probably the top guy who's gotten interviews with literally everyone. I think Flores is the best. Like he seems to be a pretty good candidate to me. I think he's the best.
I would hire. I want the Browns to get Flores, and like if I were Buffalo, I would want Flores. But I feel like Buffalo wants an offensive guy, like very much. It's like, oh, someone that can develop the receivers, someone that can, make sure the offensive line's good to go, and like really coddle to Allen a little bit. Coddle's kind of a condescending term, but like it feels like that's what they want more than anything else. So I don't know.
I get it. I don't think it's crazy to give it a shot. Most coaches don't last forever. Most coaches go out in flames.
Right.
So I think like I think it's understandable to try something new, honestly, even if it's not like obvious you're going to have some major upgrade.
Yeah. I think that it's an understandable move, but please try something new. Like if they hire Dable and they just bring back their old OC.
Would you rather have Dable or Brady?
I think I'd rather have Joe Brady than Dable.
Really?
Yeah.
I lean more Dable over Brady, but
I don't want either of them. Like if you're gonna be something new, be something new. And the Bills are pretty notorious for bringing back players that they used to know. Jordan Poyer, welcome back. Like that defensive end that they had, Shaq Lawson, welcome back. Right, like they're just always kind of bringing guys around that have kind of been in before. I'm missing a whole host of other names that I'm sure every Bills fan could rattle off. Like, do something new. If you're going to move on from a good coach, Sean McDermott, who did a good job with the defense this year.
Yeah.
I would like Flores because I just feel like pass rush has been the number one thing that has constantly fallen short.
I agree.
So someone who can manufacture pass rush in the short term might be the thing to get you a ring over the next 3 or 4 years. So that's why I like Flores. But I wouldn't be mad if
also,
they
I feel like Flores is also just good at maximizing talent.
Yeah, on defense, certainly. Yeah,
he's always definitely on defense. But like if that's what you're looking for is like a talent maximizer, like Flores to me would be the number one phone call.
Yeah. And he gets this reputation of being like tough to work with, or like, oh, there's all these horror stories of him in Miami. And then you like look at who's telling them and it's like Tua. Like, that doesn't sound that bad to me. Or like Ryan Fitzpatrick, like kind of vague posting on his podcast about how he burned bridges in Miami. But it's like, well, what about Pittsburgh? Like, what about Minnesota? Like, right. I don't know. He didn't want to tamper for Tom Brady. That's what, and then he got fired, and that's why he's suing the league. Like, I don't think that's like means he's unworkable, unless I guess you want to tamper with somebody. So I just feel like Flores. I think Flores would be a great hire. I think he'd be the guy I'd be going after. But we'll see if the league feels the same way. I wouldn't be mad though at like a Kubiak or
sure
someone like that.
What about Cliff?
Cliff. I don't know.
You don't know. Well, one thing I do know is that conference championship weekend is here, and FanDuel is turning on playoff mode. All customers get a profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day, each game day during the conference championship. Well, I guess it's just Sunday this week. You'll find a pack loaded with multiple profit boosts waiting for you in the app. Pick the matchups that you believe in the most. Think the Patriots are going to take down the Broncos, or the Rams are going to find a way to upset the Seahawks? Take your shot on an upset or build a parlay that fits the moment. Then apply your profit boost and go after even bigger payouts while the playoffs keep rolling. So visit FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL, and grab your profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. Must be 21 plus and present in select states. For Kansas, in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino, or 18 plus and present in DC, Kentucky, or Wyoming. Opt-in requires bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit fanduel.com/RG. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut, or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts, or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York. You know, this is the best week because all the games are in one day.
No, they're not.
I think they're both on Sunday.
Yeah,
Are they really?
on Sunday.
Yeah. They didn't split them up.
I was about to settle in on Saturday, turn on my TV and get Judge Judy, bro. Thank you for telling me.
Nope. You can go out. You can go to IKEA again, Theo. It'll be so much. It'll be even more fun the second time, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
Let's go in order here. Patriots, Broncos.
I think that, you know, the big question is how's the adjustment from going from Nix to Stidham? And it's pretty interesting. I mean, the Broncos' run game has been pretty bad over the last few weeks. It wasn't that good against Buffalo. And really, they leaned on a lot of like Nix getting out of structure and creating, or Nix using his legs. I mean, I think he led the Broncos in rushing attempts, and not all of those are designed, but some of them were part of the play. Does Stidham provide that as well? Because if not, like, I start to get really worried about Broncos and their offense.
Yeah, they're an interesting team because they have such a dominant offensive line, right? Like the best we've seen this season, according to the Patriots defensive linemen, right? And there's just not that much threat of a rushing attack. Their running backs only had 10 carries last week. And Bo Nix, I think, has led them in rushing yards 2 games in a row now. So if they don't have that, it is going to be too much on Stidham, I think, to overcome it without a run game. But they do have that offensive line. And J.K. Dobbins is practicing this week, which we've gotten got by that in this playoff run. Lane Johnson, he's practicing. He's going to be back. And then he's not back. Zach Tom, he's practicing. He could be back. And then he's not. Fred Warner, he's practicing. He's going to make this miraculous return from injury. Now they get blown out 41-6. Kids riled up for pizza and then leaving. So we'll see about J.K. Dobbins, but that absolutely has to be a thing where, look, it's not just pass protection. It is getting downhill. It is handing the ball off. It is Dobbins not fumbling, or Harvey not fumbling, or McLaughlin not fumbling, whoever it is, breaking off long runs. Like, they absolutely need to have that. But man, even if it is J.K. Dobbins, like, I think about Milton Williams and Christian Barmore, and I think about their corkscrew techniques. I think about the way that they're able to get their ass in the way of climbing linemen and prevent the second level from getting there. All the blitzes the Patriots have dialed up. Like, they're ready to challenge at the line of scrimmage. And man, no matter who's playing running back and how good the offensive line is, it's just tough for me to project like this is going to be an 150-yard rushing performance from the Broncos offense when, like, that's just not who they've been anytime recently since Dobbins went down. And it's going to be a reduced version of Dobbins, even if he plays.
Right.
Yeah.
Practicing in limited capacity as of 30 minutes ago. It's like, if he's not even at full speed yet, I really don't know how much work you're going to be getting out of him come Sunday. Yeah, I don't have a lot of hope for this run game at all. It's going to be a lot of Troy Franklin, Cortland Sutton. Can those guys create separation against these corners? And it's Gonzo, and we've seen Jones has also been stepping up and having a great season and a great playoff run. So I really don't know where Denver has the advantage right now outside of, can their defense wreak massive havoc, which is
very possible. It's incredibly possible. I think the other side of this game is how conservative are the Patriots. I mean, we just saw Buffalo get big and run pretty well against Denver. And, I mean, the Patriots are a team that wants to get big and do the same thing. On top of that, New England just had this game where they didn't end up losing, and it never felt like they were going to lose. But there were times where it's like, we don't trust ourselves to drop back at all, because a combination of great edge rusher, Will Campbell being really bad, and Drake May sitting too long in the pocket leads to a lot of these turnovers. Now, it won't be raining, And I don't think the edge rushing duo in Denver is quite as good as what you've got in Houston, of course. But Benito is still a massive challenge. The way things have gone this playoffs, like I would expect him to do very well against Campbell. And I wonder if, you lean a little bit more conservative if you're New England, and if maybe they're going to struggle to like just go out there and have Drake May be the MVP. I mean, he has not like had these great statistical performances over the last couple of games. Now, do I think he's capable of, even against like this great secondary, being super accurate and throwing with timing? Like, yeah, we saw the same thing against Houston. There were the down moments and there were the up moments and some really great throws over the middle and well placed. And we saw Booty and Diggs get their wins, which is really important because they're going to have to do the same thing in this game. But yeah, if I'm Denver, the path is make it tough to make Drake May go out there and beat us. And if you can do that, you'll probably get it into this close, grindy game. And when you're the underdog, I think that's what you want.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
And 5.5 point favorites, that feels like kind of a lot. Matt, I'm with you. I think this would be like a really close, grinded out, like 4 field goals between the two teams is like all I'm seeing as far as points, like a 9-3. I guess that would 5.5, wouldn't it? That would
5.5 would be covered by the 6 point spread, but I think 5.5 is about right.
Yeah, no, maybe 12-9, maybe 12-9 is a more applicable.
I am really interested to see Stidham. I really am interested to see Stidham and to see if there's a little bit of backup magic in him. Like I said, I saw him in preseason and he balled out and he was poised and he stood in the pocket. He stepped up and threw. He was accurate. He made plays on those fade routes like that the Broncos love to run if they want to blitz and play man coverage. Can Jarrett Stidham hit the top of his drop and just rainbow a fade into Sutton or Mims like Knicks did on that big throw? Like I saw him make those throws in the preseason, man. Like maybe he can like kind of screen his way down the field and then rip the heart out when he needs to if the defense plays well. It's not unthinkable to think that. Like, and I think a lot of this Broncos offense has kind of been with the mindset of like, let's roll out, right? Nix is going to play with happy feet. Let's give him a reason to play with happy feet and roll him out, right? Nobody has attempted more passes with moving feet than the Broncos this year. So is there something that maybe could get unlocked a little bit with Stidham, like playing from the pocket a little bit more, throwing intermediate a little bit more, like throwing over the middle a little bit more, hitting backside digs a little bit more? Like maybe. I think Nix is coming off a really great game, and it's no guarantee that a backup can come in and play that well. But, we don't know much about Stidham. Like maybe he comes in and sucks on all those throws, and maybe he comes in and actually like is a pretty adept pocket passer in a way that we haven't seen and that the way the Patriots aren't quite prepared for. I don't know.
I feel like that kind of success comes with reps and like how on the same page are Stidham and Sutton, like,
yeah.
Have they gotten the timing down in practice? Maybe they have. I don't know. I mean,
and I got to tell you, the Cardinals B team, like going back and watching that footage, it really is like slow motion compared to what he'll be facing in the AFC Championship game, right? Like, the Cardinals backups are not quite.
Backup corner as opposed to Gonzo,
Cody Simon was out there getting reps. I know that. Shout out Xavier Thomas. I can't quite remember the names in the secondary, but I'm sure they weren't Christian Gonzalez. Yeah.
Yeah, probably not. So
it's going to be a the Patriots will go really as far as Carlton Davis will take them. I feel like, it was kind of the battle of the cornerback twos in the Houston game. It was a lot of Lassiter and Davis, and it'll be a lot of Riley Moss and Davis.
Yeah, honestly, probably will be.
Yeah, and Carlton Davis played a good game.
Very good. 2 picks. And so did Riley Moss. He never gave up. I can't think of any big play he really gave up. There was the one before the infamous catch/interception where Cooks just couldn't drop the knee before his hand hit. That was on Riley Moss. But I don't think anything else really was. But I got the Patriots, I got to say. Like, Riley Moss seems like a bigger weak link. Kayshon Boutte just got a big catch on Derek Stingley. Why can't he get a big catch on Pat Surtain, much less Riley Moss, right? Like, it just feels like one half of the field is closed here for the Broncos, and then the other half is pretty open with the best downfield thrower and catcher that we've seen in quite some time. Like, these guys are outlier type good at connecting on fade balls this season. And I think we're going to see some explosive plays there from Drake May. I think he's been inconsistent statistically. He's fumbled a lot, but I do think that you still see the accuracy in these playoff games. He doesn't look necessarily not himself. He just looks like he's gone up against Will Anderson and Khalil Mack and now Nick Bonito and wants to hold the ball. I think he can even get away with a strip sack and still probably win this game. It's just try not to have 4 and try not to turn the football over too much. And the Broncos still really have struggled with turnovers so far this season. This was almost a franchise low. I think through 16 games, it was a franchise low in turnovers for them, which is just crazy considering it's like a franchise high in sacks. Then I think they stayed out of that basement in week 17 and then, of course, had a ton in the divisional round. But this has been a team that struggles to take the ball away this season. And
it's a team that's due for a bunch of turnovers. It's not shaping up well for New England.
But they already had their due game. Now they're due to not have them.
Now they're hot.
Again.
Uh-oh.
They're in rhythm. I am a little worried about the turnovers. I will say, like, Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter are especially good when it comes to, like, ripping the ball out on sack attempts. That's clearly something that they practice a lot because that's like, they're not going like when they wrap you up, it's like one hand around the waist, another hand on the ball, like that's exactly what they're going for. And so maybe the Broncos don't get as many strip sacks as the Texans did. And it's also not going to be raining, but it is something to be concerned about. And I think it's something that you're asking Drake May to, like, really make up a lot of ground on those throws. And I think he will. I think he's really accurate, and I think he deserves the MVP. But I think it'll be a little bit closer than maybe we expect. I'll have the Patriots winning because special teams matters a lot. I'll have them winning 16 to 15.
16 to 15. Yeah, I mean, I'm with you with Bonito, and on Campbell is probably a huge mismatch, but I'm also thinking that they probably can do more to negate the pressure than they did in the last game. Like, they handed the ball off, and they did not really run the ball well on Houston, but we just saw the Bills run the ball really well on the Broncos. So if they get under center and they hand the ball off to Stevenson over and over again, can Denver actually stop that? Because the last 2 playoff games we've seen from this Vance Joseph defense, they haven't been able to. So I'm worried about that. I'm worried about more play action passing where they kind of slow Bonito down. I think there are ways to scheme around kind of those 2 huge matchup advantages that the Broncos have, Surtain and Bonito. I think there's ways to kind of avoid those guys and win this game. And I'm just not sure.
They tried to get some chip help sometimes with like Henderson, and he just whiffed.
Yeah, they did. I mean, they tried some things, but
and you do have to also be worried about Stevenson fumbling because he's got his own fumble problem.
Very true.
So I don't know. I don't think there's. I think the Patriots will win, but like, I could see this being a tough game for them, just like last week was a tough game for them with the turnovers.
Yeah, I trust Sean Payton. I trust the Broncos not to go down without a fight. But I think there'll be fake field goals. I think there might be some trickeration and the things that Sean Payton does when he's kind of in a corner. But at the end of the day, I do think that the defense from the Patriots and Stidham and all the factors that seem to be going in their favor will go in their favor, and they'll win.
I think they're going to do like a fake spike. I don't think it's going to work, but I see like a Dan Marino type fake spike on the final drive. I'm going to go 20-17 Patriots.
Nice.
I'm going to say the Patriots score 30. I'm going to say they win pretty handily. I'm going to say 30-14 Patriots.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they did win the last game pretty handedly. So I can't.
I don't think I'm going to be a Stidham guy. I'm interested to see if he can do something, but I'm not going to be a Stidham guy here. I think the ingredients are there for a double-digit victory from the Patriots.
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
But now let's talk about the Seattle Seahawks and the LA Rams. This is obviously the game of the week, game of the century. And we're talking about the best defense in the NFL right now. Some are saying the best defense we've seen since the Legion of Boom in Seattle. They've had a number of outstanding players. They have Jackson Smith and Jigba, the Emerald City route artist at wide receiver, going up against Matthew Stafford, who some say should win the MVP, Puka Nacua. They've got a great play caller in Sean McVay. Who do you guys have in this one? This is a really tough game.
I am going to go with the Seahawks. I'm going to pick the Seahawks. Matt?
Yeah, I'm in the same spot.
Okay.
I picked the Rams to make the Super Bowl, but I just don't think Stafford's quite as good as I've wanted him to for me to feel confident in that. Still, nothing's can change game from game. Like, he could play better, frankly, be more accurate is what I really need out of him. Mm-hmm. And on some level, I think he's decently equipped to go up against his Seahawks team. I mean, they like to sit in, the too high or whatever, and we saw, he put up 37, didn't win the game, but did a great job attacking over the middle. So how Seattle chooses to play that'll be interesting, and how aggressive they get going after him will be interesting, whether or not they decide to heat him up a ton or get him uncomfortable and try to get him to move off of his spot, because I think teams have seen a lot more success in that sense than they have, just kind of sitting back in soft, unaggressive zones. But Seattle being like non-aggressive in the sense that they're not like coming after you doesn't necessarily work quite the same as like the Panthers defense doing the same thing, right? It's slightly different. So to me, that's the big question is Stafford in that sense and how aggressive Seattle chooses to be.
Yeah, that is absolutely my same question as well. How will Mike McDonald play this after watching the Bears game? Mm-hmm. Is he going to sit in his too high quarters shells, which they have a ton of success with, and allowed, I think they had like 5 yards allowed to wide receivers in the first half of that game. I remember Brady saying, like, it was absolutely blanketed on the outside. The only offense the 49ers had was Tonjes, basically, and checkdowns to McCaffrey. So maybe if you're trying to take away receivers, you just stay in that quarter shell. But then you watch the Bears game and you look at the success they had, like blitzing Eamon Worry or Witherspoon, right? And then playing man. It seems like Seattle has two good options is kind of what I'm thinking there, though. It seems like both of those games, like if one doesn't work, you can go to the other. And that might be a money adjustment because they are really, really good playing in every single defensive world, whether it's cover one, whether it's quarters, whether it's, 3 rotation and they're kind of matching after a few seconds. Like, their zone coverages do not stay zoned for long. Like, guys really attach themselves and follow you around. Like, they're just different, man. Like, this Seattle secondary, this Seattle defense as a whole, I think they're on pace to be better than the Legion of Boom even was, like, when you consider the division that they're in and what they've done against the 49ers and some of the results they've had versus the Rams this year. Obviously, in the second game, they were a bit banged up in the secondary. Woolen didn't play. I think he played under half the snaps. He left. So we'll see if that matters. But, like, this is a really special defense. Their tape versus the 49ers is just unbelievably good. There's no breathing room. There's no space. But, like, if there's anybody who can make catches without breathing room, it is Puka Nacua, and he did have 200 yards on him last time. So, look, it's possible, but Stafford will definitely have to be a lot sharper, and so will Puka.
Yeah. I think that's a big place of growth for them, though, and it's one of those things where it's like, okay, Puka's been having weirdo drops in part because I think like weather or whatever, although I guess against the Panthers, like the weather was fine. So that was just on him. And Stafford, like I mean, the Panthers would scare anyone
for the drops in Carolina, man. I don't know what you're talking about. I do have some concerns about Stafford's accuracy to be weary at this point, obviously. I think Seattle's defense is up for the task this time around. I really do. Of really locking down Puka. Theo, like you mentioned, the Bears were able to get a lot of pressure, being very aggressive, and the only times where the Rams were really able to kind of break that was when the Bears came out in off coverage, right? And if the Seahawks are just balls to the wall, aggressive the whole game, which they have the guys to do, this defense is as balanced and well built as it gets. You know, side note, we were lower on Seattle this year, mostly because of Sam Darnold.
Mm-hmm.
But like last year, we were really high on Seattle because we liked a lot of the players they had on defense. We were big fans of Geno Smith, and things didn't quite pan out that year, but they bring in McDonald. And I wonder if we should have just been like, oh, we liked the defense last year.
Clearly we should have.
We obviously
we definitely should have been high on Seattle.
I was like looking back on my process of being like, I shouldn't have had Darnold hurt them that much.
They played in a great division, and
Right. Yeah.
we did think it was a quarterback downgrade and all that. And I definitely didn't think their defense would be like better than the Legion of Boom. I got a hand up there. I didn't think even Murray would be as good as he is as a nickel, and
That's fair.
And I didn't think Ernest Jones would be an all-pro and all these things. But yeah, they are a great defense. Really, the only thing that hurt them versus San Francisco was Purdy with his legs. Like, he had a couple plays where he scrambled around, found Tonjes against his body. One where he scrambled backwards and found it was Juwan Jennings crossing the field. He had some first downs with his own legs. Like, so I'm rewatching that game. I'm like, Stafford isn't going to be doing any of this, right? He's going to have to stand there, and he can't swirl the defense, and all the success that Purdy had, Stafford's not going to be able to find. So they're really going to have to pick on if it's quarters. I think they're going to really have to pick on Ernest Jones and
Yeah.
the linebacking core and just layer as many inbreakers as they can. But, Seattle's ready for that too. And Witherspoon on Puka can undercut those routes, play through the hands. Like, he's playing at an absolute insane level right now. It's going to be tough, man. It's going to have to be just insane plays from the quarterback and receivers. Like, I don't know what else to say. Like, they're going to have to just be money on every single inbreaker.
And they've done it before. They've done it before. Possible. I mean, they've got a chance for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
And for Seattle offensively, it always just comes down to setting up the run game and then not asking Darnold to do much and building the play action off of it well and that type of stuff. And then Darnold not making the key mistakes, not panicking when he doesn't recognize what he sees and not taking a whole big bunch of sacks. And if you're the Rams, don't give up a big punt return. And if there's something that maybe looks like a fumble, definitely grab the ball. If the ball is on you should be like kind of obnoxious about the ball, like any incomplete pass, like sarcastically dive on it and then look up at the ref and be like, is that good? Is that good? Or is it live? Or I know you blew the whistle, but like that doesn't mean anything, right? Yeah, I would be doing that type of stuff and be real childish, and then they'll call a bunch of holdings on you and you'll lose. So,
yeah, I think definitely the path for the Rams victory has more to do with the defense than the offense. Like, if the Rams play a stellar game, if Puka goes crazy, like, they might score 23 points like this time around. I don't think you can count on them scoring 37 again. I just don't see it happening. I think if they play a really, really clean game, they can get to like mid-20s, and that better be enough. That better be enough versus Sam Darnold and company. Like, this isn't a team that really wants to be in pure drop back situations, but at the same time, they're not a dominant front. All right. So stop the run, get them in 3rd and long, and then feast and get the Darnold turnovers that you have gotten the last 2 games that you've played. Like, this is a team that really wants to fly to the second level as fast as they can up front. They want to make everything a kick return type scenario and then toss it out to Rashid Shaheed out of the backfield or Kenneth Walker, right? If they want to get to the second level that fast, and you're one-on-one with Anthony Bradford, like absolutely kill that block, or Sundell, absolutely kill that block. In the pass protection, like Kobe Turner at nose tackle on those guys is a mismatch. So get that interior pressure, rotate your coverages, create a bunch of havoc, and make it that, Sam Darnold has 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, right? Like, it's possible. That's why I think this is going to be a good game, because I don't think that Seattle is going to be able to move the ball up and down the field. We've seen that Darnold struggles immensely with this Rams defense, and I think all the ingredients are there for the Rams to make this hell on him. Their backup running back is Velus Jones Jr. Is that going to come into play now that Charbonnet is out? Like, there's a lot that I think I'm not convinced about when it comes to the Seahawks offensive operation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't expect a 41-point performance again or a 35-point victory. I'm sure the Rams are going to do a better job than that.
Yeah. New news just dropped. Brian Flores signed an extension in Minnesota.
No! No!
So, Brian, if you're watching, I'm begging you to reconsider.
Brian, rip that contract up.
No.
And go coach for the Cleveland Browns immediately.
Please.
Oh, that's sickening. He's so good, man. Like, he's really one of the main characters of this league, I feel like. Like, whoever has Brian Flores has just a massive asset and just a massive advantage when it comes to ranking in the top half in defense consistently. Like, it's an extremely hard thing to do, and it feels like Brian Flores has a way to just make you do that year in and year out. So it doesn't shock me at the end of the day because of all the things kind of following him and just how good of a situation I feel like he has in Minnesota, where he's got Andrew Van Ginkel, who is like just amazingly good at popping out into coverage, and Dallas Turner is just like amazingly good at taking a step forward, then popping out into coverage. Like, some of the personnel guys that they have are just perfect for the Flores scheme. But you have 9, bro. Like, get out of there, bro. Like, you don't want to play there. You don't want to play in this division with Demon Love and Demon Williams and Demon Goff.
He likes the challenge. That's what he's a sick freak, and he wants the work.
Going to the Browns wouldn't exactly be running from the grind.
No, it wouldn't. What about the Bills? Don't even worry about that press conference, dude. Like, Josh Allen.
He probably saw that press conference and called up his agent immediately. He's like, "Hey, bro, let's sign that contract."
Get him out of my division, bro. He's nice at the game. He did everything right in Miami, bro.
He did.
Ryan Fitzpatrick is mad because he got fined for being too fat. And that's the only reason, I'm sure. Not just a fun story told on this podcast.
Yes. But real quick before we get out, give us the score prediction for Rams Seahawks.
I'm not feeling great about Darnold. He didn't play a bad game last time, but just Darnold versus the Rams. I'm thinking of capping the Seahawks out at, I'm going to say they win 17-13. I think it's going to be real low scoring.
Okay.
I think it's going to be a defensive struggle.
Matt?
I'll say 27-20.
Last time these two teams played, they went to overtime, and it was 30-30, and then the Rams scored a touchdown and kicked an extra point, and then the Seahawks scored a touchdown and got the 2-point conversion. I'm going to say that the exact same thing happens.
That would be fire.
It would be fire. Very, very league scripted coded, but give me Seahawks win, except instead of 38-37, it's 39-38. To be a little bit different. I think we'll still see some points.
I'm not seeing 77 points scored.
Darnold threw 2 picks in that game, and they still put up 38, man. So
True.
they can get it done. They can get it done. Trust. But those are our conference championship predictions. We'll be back, of course, to recap those games on Monday's episode release. We'll record that Sunday night after the after the game of the week, possibly game of the year. Thank you all so much for tuning in to another episode of Stay Hot. Make sure you come back very soon. And until then, as always, we will catch you on the flippity flop.